Hi, I'm Carolyn Blunt from Real Results, and this is a video that I'm making to offer some free support on personal resilience for staff in contact centres. So thank you to everyone who subscribed to ask for free tips on this following the webinar I did with Call Centre Helper. So I'm just going to talk for 5 minutes today on personal resilience, because this follows on from the other video and the tip sheets you might have already downloaded around assertiveness and influence for contact centre staff. And this is really important because stress is one of the biggest reasons why contact centre staff go absent from work, which is obviously bad for them and it's bad for the organisation as well. It's not unusual for contact centres to have an attrition rate of between 20 or 40% in terms of staff turnover, so that's not great. It's very costly for the organisation to keep recruiting and training. It can cost anything between £5,000 and £10,000 to replace each person who leaves, and obviously it's an indicator that something isn't right in the environment or the work that they're doing or the support that they're receiving, or we're just not doing the right things in terms of recruitment, or we might be stuck in a region where that's challenging. I do appreciate that as well. So I have another video on the best ways in which to recruit and retain a dream team. So I'm not going to cover that here, but this is really about thinking how you help your advisors to move on from a more difficult and challenging situation. So it's really important in terms of planning that shrinkage time is allowed following difficult calls for advisors to take some time out. So this only has to be a few minutes, but it really does help kind of regroup, get a drink, draw a line under that negative conversation and be able to move on from that. So it's not just about the fact that it's going to be angry customers. It could be something emotionally draining. What your call types are. I've worked with organisations who are dealing with terminally ill, health issues, who are dealing with crime, ambulance requests, all that kind of stuff. So it can be really, really scary and negative. So it's important to look after our people in that respect and to give them some tools and techniques. So one of the tools that we use a lot comes from Paul McGee's work in Sumo. So Real Results is a licensed provider of the materials within that framework. So if you've not heard of it before, a great starting point is to get Paul McGee's book, which is called Shut Up, Move On, Sumo, which sounds a bit aggressive, but it's really not meant to be. It's about how you shut up the faulty thinking inside your own brain and how you move on to creating a more positive outcome. So we use the principles of that within a personal resilience workshop, and one of the best things that we help people to do is almost some mental coaching of themselves when they're in that situation, which it's really hard. We all have bad days, we have bad news, and we have tough negative things that happen, and it can be kind of very attractive to do a bit of self-pity and have a duvet day or do a bit of wallowing, and that's absolutely normal. But imagine that you've got a headset on and you're just not allowed to do any of that. There's a beep in your ear and go again, it's another call. We can see why people kind of get stuck in this cycle of carrying negativity from one call into the next, and then the whole day, the whole shift goes downhill. So it's really key to help them think about how they can do that really quickly and in kind of the environment that they're in. So quite often what our clients will have is a little breakout, chill out area where people can go and kind of just take 5 after a difficult call, which is great. But one of the traps that we can fall into with that is every time we go and sit there, it's almost like the naughty corner, and everyone kind of says, have you just had a really bad call? Are you all right? And then all that kind of tea and sympathy comes out, and then they end up talking about it, and that then brings it up again, and maybe their colleague says, oh, I know that happened to me last week, and they bring up theirs, and then they walk away feeling worse, and it's just not good. So what we want to think about is building positive association with that chill out area. So lots of motivational quotes there, encouraging people to use it even when they haven't had a bad call that they just kind of go and sit there and have a snack and just feel good about, you know, think about nice things that they're going to do at the weekend, or, you know, so it's got some build up to it, that they anchor some positive thoughts while they're in that area, so that then when they do need to use it, they can. And there are some questions that we use to help people move on from these difficult calls. We get them to put it into some context, that we get them to think about it not being personal, that we get them to think about what they can learn from it. So there's a series of questions in the toolkit which they can really apply to each call, and to recognise that, you know, you won't just be able to flick a switch and suddenly be positive, but there are some things that you might find work for you. So for me, it's music. You know, I can be feeling really, really down, but if I listen to certain tracks of music, I have to smile and I have to kind of end up dancing around a bit, and then I feel better. And that works for me. So if it means sitting in that chill out area with an iPad on with one track, which is like 3.5 minutes tops, you know, that's a great use of time, and then I can come back re-energized, and it's almost like the reset button has been pressed and I can start again. So we just kind of spend some time in the workshop thinking about that. So if you would like to download the personal resilience worksheet that has more information about those 7 questions and the objectives of that workshop, you're very welcome to do that on this page. So I hope this is useful, and look forward to connecting with you again soon. Bye for now.